If you're a teenager and you have already started thinking about investing, you're about to be way ahead of 99% of people your age. Most teenagers are either scrolling social media all day or spending every dirham they have on stuff they don't even remember buying a month later. But if you're watching this video right now, you're probably someone who actually cares about building a future that doesn't rely on your parents, your job, or luck. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly how teenagers can start investing even if you don't have a ton of money, even if you can't legally open every type of account yet, and even if you're starting from absolute zero. This is the video I wish someone made when I was 16 years old. But before we get into the details, let me ask you for one quick favor. If you're serious about learning how money works, take 2 seconds to tap that like button and hit subscribe. I promise you it makes a bigger difference than you think in helping this channel grow and letting me keep making content like this for completely free. Without further ado, let's get right into it. First, let's talk about why starting as a teenager is such a huge advantage. Even if you're only investing a little bit each month, you have something most people in their 30s and 40s would kill to get back, and that is time. Let me show you how powerful that is with a really simple example. Imagine you start investing just 200 dirhams a month when you're 16 years old. If you keep going consistently and earn an average return of 8% a year, literally just 8%, which is about what the global stock market has returned historically, by the time you're 40 years old, you'll have more than 280,000 dirhams in your bank account. That's from putting in only 48,000 dirhams of your own money over 24 years. The other 230,000 dirhams comes from a concept called compounding, literally money making more money on top of it itself. So it's like your money is working for you and you're not working for money. Now let's say you waited until you were 30 years old to start investing that same 200 dirhams a month. By age 40, you'd only have about 36,000 dirhams. That's a massive difference. Just by starting as a teenager, you'd have nearly 8 times as much money by 40. That's the power of time, and that's the power of compounding. It doesn't matter if you're not earning a big salary yet. What matters is that you get started, and you get started today. I know a lot of you might be wondering, okay, but if I'm under 18, can I even open an investment account by myself? And the answer depends on where you live. In most places, including here in the UAE, you usually need to be at least 18 years old to open a brokerage account in your own name. But that doesn't mean you can't get started though. You have a couple of options. The first is to ask your parents or guardian to open a custodial account for you. That means the account is legally in their name, but it's managed for your benefit. You can help choose what to invest in, and when you turn 18 or 21, depending on the rules, the account transfers into your name. If your parents aren't familiar with investing, this can be a great opportunity to learn together. Sit down with them, watch videos like this one, and research platforms that offer custodial accounts or joint accounts for minors. If your family isn't ready to set up a real account yet, you can still practice investing by using a virtual portfolio or demo account. These are basically simulation tools where you can track pretend investments in real time with no risk. It might sound boring, but trust me, when you finally start putting real money after you've understood everything, you'll feel way more confident because you already understand how the process works. And if you're 18 or older, that's when things get even easier. You can sign up for your own brokerage account directly on platforms like Sarva, Interactive Brokers, eToro, Saxo Bank, or Amana, which I personally use. They'll usually ask for your Emirates ID, proof of address, and sometimes a minimum deposit, but it's still pretty straightforward. The best part is you can start small because some platforms will let you begin with as little as 100 dirhams. So you don't have to wait until you have a huge amount saved up to get started. One of the most exciting parts of investing is dividends. Dividends are basically payments some companies make to their shareholders like yourself just for owning their stock. So if you invest in something like the S&P 500 ETF, which is called VOO, you're not only getting the long-term growth of those 500 big companies, you're also getting little chunks of cash paid to you every quarter. It's like having a tiny piece of a company that sends you a thank you note with money inside 4 times a year. And the best part is you can reinvest those dividends to buy more shares. That means your portfolio keeps growing even faster over time and compounding that. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill. The longer it rolls, the bigger it gets, and eventually it starts to grow on its own momentum. Let me give you another example of how dividends and compounding work together. Let's say you invest 500 dirhams a month starting at age 18. You put it into a low-cost index fund that pays an average annual return of 8%, including dividends. By the time you're 60, you'd have more than 1.7 million dirhams. And that's assuming you never increased your monthly contribution to the investment. If you boosted it over time as you earned more, you could easily have several millions of dirhams. And that's how ordinary people build real wealth without winning the lottery. A lot of teenagers also ask about crypto. Let's be real. Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the meme coins, they're everywhere on TikTok and YouTube. And while I'm not going to tell you to never touch them, I will tell you this. Crypto is extremely volatile and it should never be your entire portfolio. If you really want to try it out, think of it like going to the arcade. Use money you can afford to lose. Maybe you set aside 10% of your investment money to buy a little bit of Bitcoin or Ethereum and see how it goes, but you keep 90% of it in safer assets like index funds. That way, if crypto drops 50%, it's not going to destroy your whole plan. One of the best investments you can make as a teenager has nothing to do with stocks or crypto. It's investing in skills as well and learning. The younger you are, the easier it is to learn new things and build a side income. Maybe you love coding, start learning Python or web development. Maybe you're into art, so learn graphic design and start taking commissions. Maybe you like talking to people, so learn sales or start making content. The skills you build now will pay you over and over for the rest of your life. And when you combine those skills with financial discipline, you're unstoppable. I also want to touch on something really important: lifestyle inflation. This happens when you start earning money and immediately start spending more to look successful. It could be upgrading your phone every year, eating out all the time, buying things you don't actually need. I'm telling you right now, if you can avoid lifestyle inflation in your teens and early 20s, you'll be miles ahead over everyone else. Because every dirham you save and invest now is worth way more than the dirhams you save 10 years from now. That's the magic of compounding. Some of you might be thinking, okay, that sounds great, but where do I physically put the money? If you're over 18, you can open a brokerage account and start buying index funds or ETFs through your bank account. If you're under 18, you can use a custodial account or just practice with a demo account so you're ready when the time comes, which is 18. And alongside that, I recommend setting up a basic savings account for your emergency fund and where you can store your money ready to purchase index funds. This isn't technically investing, but it's a critical part of any financial plan. Your emergency fund should be the money you don't touch except in a real emergency. Like if you lose your part-time job or your laptop breaks or you have to pay for something unexpected like a medical bill. Aim for at least a few thousand dirhams saved up over time so that way you never have to sell your investments at a bad time just because you really need the cash. Alright, here's my personal take. If I could go back and talk to my teenage self, I'd tell him this: don't get distracted by what everyone else is doing. Your friends might be buying the newest iPhone, wearing the latest sneakers, or spending every weekend out. But 5 or 10 years from now, they're not going to remember any of that. What they will notice is that you have options and they don't, because you invested when nobody else was paying attention. You have the freedom to travel, to start a business, or take a break without panicking about money. And I think that is freedom, which is worth more than any expensive gadget. I'm telling you right now, you don't need a perfect strategy. You don't have to pick the best stocks or time the market. You just have to start, be patient, and keep going. That's it. Even if you invest a little bit every month and never stop, your future self will be so grateful you did that. So with that being said, that's it for today's video. If you learned something new and you feel more confident about how to start investing as a teenager, go ahead and hit that like button to show some love to the video and the channel. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video about saving, investing, and building a life of freedom and choices. And if you want to go even deeper, I've got a members only group where I share exclusive guides, tools, and answer your questions one-on-one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Start small, stay consistent, and remember, time is your biggest advantage. You've got this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.